Hello friends, welcome to Akulmac Live. Today we want to discuss about the nuclear alarm globally. The moratorium on the nuclear weapon testing is under threat. Russian President Vladimir Putin has requested proposals for the possible resumption of the nuclear test following a recent destabilizing claims by US President Donald Trump regarding the American testing. What is going on here? Let us discuss this further. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. For decades, the specter of the nuclear weapon testing has largely remained just that, a specter, a chilling memory from a bygone era kept at a bar by international treaties and collective understanding of the devastating consequences. But tonight, we must confront a deeply troubling development that threatens to shatter that fragile peace. Russian President Vladimir Putin is actively requesting proposals for a possible resumption of the nuclear weapon testing. This isn't just a political maneuver, it's a stark nuclear alarm ringing across the globe, set off by recent claims by the President Donald Trump, and it carries implications that could redefine the global security for generations. Let us rewind a little to understand how we got here. The spark that ignited this latest firestorm can be traced to statements made by President Donald Trump. While the exact details of his claims vary, the essence was clear. An assertion that United States might need to demonstrate its nuclear capabilities or even consider resuming its own nuclear testing in response to the actions of the other nations. These weren't the ideal whispers, they are the public pronouncements from a former commander in chief holding significant weight on the international stage. Now jump to Moscow. In what many analysts view as a directed for tat or at least a highly calculated response, President Vladimir Putin swiftly moved. He didn't just issue a warning, he issued a directive. Putin has explicitly requested that his defense minister and the state nuclear cooperation Rosatom submit proposals for the possible resumption of the Russians' own nuclear weapon tests. This isn't just a bluster, it's a concrete administrative step towards potentially breaking a nearly 30-year global moratorium. The message from Moscow is unmistakably is if the US even consider this path, Russia is ready to follow, escalating tensions to a level not seen since the height of the Cold War. To truly grasp the gravity of the Putin's directive, we need to understand why nuclear weapon testing stopped in the first place and what its resumption would truly mean. Nuclear testing is not just about detonating a bomb, it's about developing, refining, and demonstrating the destructive power of these weapons. The world's largely agreed to halt the nuclear explosions with the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty (CTBT), adopted by the UN General Assembly in the year 1996. While the CTBT has been signed by 187 nations and ratified by 178, it famously hasn't officially entered into force because the key nations, including US, China, India, Pakistan, North Korea, Israel, Iran, and Egypt, have not yet ratified it. However, despite its non entry into force, there has been a strong global norms against testing. Only one nation, which is North Korea, has conducted nuclear tests in the 21st century, each time drawing widespread international condemnation. Resuming tests would have profound consequences. Firstly, it would accelerate a nuclear arms race. If Russia tests its highly likely other nuclear power would also feel compelled to do the same to maintain perceived deterrence or gain a technological edge. This includes the US, China, and potentially others. Secondly, it shatters the non proliferation regime. How can we ask a non nuclear state to refrain from developing these weapons if the major powers are actively engaged in testing them? It sends a dangerous message. And finally, there is the environmental impact. Fallout, contaminations, and long term health effects are well documented consequences of the atmospheric or even underground nuclear detonations. This isn't just about the geopolitics, it's about the very health of our planet. The geopolitical implications of even considering renewed nuclear testing are immense. For decades, the strategic relationship between the nuclear powers has been governed by doctrine like mutual assured destruction or MAD, a grim understanding that a full scale nuclear exchange would lead to annihilation of all parties, while terrifying MAD has paradoxically maintained a degree of strategic stability. Putin's move, prompted by Trump's rhetoric, threatens to unravel this delicate balance. It represents a potential return to a highly volatile, unpredictable era. Imagine the world seeing headlines not about arms control but about arms acceleration. This could easily be perceived as the first major step towards a new Cold War, not just between US and Russia, but with China increasingly a formidable player in this equation. Beijing has its own growing nuclear arsenal and would undoubtedly watch any resumption of testing with extreme concerns and potentially follow suit. What about existing treaties? The New START Treaty, which limits developed strategic nuclear warhead, is already facing an uncertain future. If the major power disregard the informal norm against their testing, what confidence can there be in other arms control agreement? It erodes trust, increases suspicion, and forces nations into defensive postures, potentially leading to miscalculation and dangerous escalations. The international community, from UN to smaller non-aligned nation, would be faced with an existential crisis of policy and security. Beyond the immediate tit for tat, it's important to ask, why now? Why is Putin making this move at this specific juncture? From a domestic perspective, Putin often uses assertive foreign policy, actions to rally support at home. In times of the internal economic pressures or the political dissent, projecting strength on the world stage can be an effective distraction or a unifying force. Threatening to resume nuclear tests certainly sends a message of strength and defiance to his domestic audience. Furthermore, Russia has a long expressed concerns about perceived US advancements in missile defense systems, which they have viewed as potentially undermining their nuclear deterrent. A resumption of testing could be framed internally as necessary to ensure Russia's strategic parity or even superiority, allowing them to test new warhead designs or delivery systems designed to overcome these defenses. It's a way to demonstrate that Russia is major global power that demands respect and cannot be dictated to. From an external standpoint, it is also a powerful signal to the West. It's a demonstration that Russia is prepared to escalate if it feels its red lines are being crossed or if its security interests are threatened. It's a high stake poker game, and Putin is showing that he is willing to raise the ante significantly, forcing Washington and its ally to reconsider their own positions and rhetoric. This isn't just about nuclear bombs, it's about leverage, perception, and ongoing struggle for global influence. So, what happens next? There are several potential scenarios, each with its own set of risks. Scenario 1. Russia actually resumes testing. This would be most dangerous path, almost certainly triggering a response from the other nuclear powers and leading to a rapid and dangerous escalation of the arms race. Scenario 2. Putin directive remains just that, a directive for proposal, but not actual physical tests taking place. This allows Russia to maintain pressure, test the water, keep the threat alive without crossing the red line of an actual detonation. It's a game of chicken with global security hanging in the balance. Scenario 3. International diplomacy kicks into high gear. This is the most hopeful but perhaps most challenging scenario. It would require leaders to step back from the brink, engage in serious dialogue, and perhaps revisit arms control agreement or find new ways to de-escalate. The role of countries like China, India, European powers could be crucial in urging restraint and promoting dialogue. The good news is that the international monitoring systems are highly sophisticated. Any nuclear detonation, even underground, would almost certainly be detected by seismic stations globally, ensuring transparency. However grim but an action taken, the pressure from the international community would be immense. What is clear is that we are at a critical juncture. The casual talk of resuming nuclear testing, whether from Washington or Moscow, is incredibly dangerous. It risks unleashing a cascade of events that could undermine decades of work on arms control and non-proliferation, pushing us back to the most terrifying moments of the 20th century. The nuclear arm is indeed ringing. It's a call for extreme caution, for cooler heads to prevail, and for urgent return to dialogue and de-escalation. Our collective future and the very concept of global peace depends on it. So friends, what do you think about this? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more essential analysis on the global events. Thanks for joining live, thanks for watching, and I will catch you again in the next one.